This is the Foy Jr. Show, where faith, truth, and courage come together. Join us as we explore life's deeper purpose and carry the torch of conviction. The show begins now.
Welcome to the Foy Jr. Show. Thank you all for being here. All right, today in the Jesus Gym, we're going to unpack what it takes to be a leader grounded in the Bible and still holding your standards high. And I've been challenged with this, folks. How do I hold high standards, bring grace to the leadership table, to those that I'm leading, and hold people accountable to the standards that got us to where we are today in the business front, in the brand front? It's not easy. Man, I am messing up. So, does God have high standards? Does Jesus have high standards? Now, a lot of people think Jesus was this hippie that loved everyone no matter what you did. Well, today, I'm going to show you that I've learned, and I strongly believe, that our standards should be increasing, not decreasing. That we can hold people accountable with grace and hold our standards high. And if you go back and listen to my podcast, the Foy Jr. Show, you'll know over the last 4 weeks, I've been really struggling with my past leadership to where I believe the Bible's telling me how to lead. Because I was a kick-ass, get it done, take names, warrior mode. And it worked. But it doesn't feel as rewarding anymore as I understand how the apostles led, how Jesus led. And I'm applying the biblical readings that I'm doing to leadership. And that's what I'm here to talk about. So, can we have grace without lowering our standards? There's 3 scriptures that tell me we can have high standards. We can have grace. We can hold people accountable. Jesus is confronted by the religious leaders with a woman who commits adultery. It's in John chapter 8. And they want to stone this woman to death. And they're testing Jesus. And it sounds so simple when you read it, but imagine. Jesus is writing in the sand. He stands up and he says to these people, "Those without sin, cast the first stone at her." Throw it. They don't. One by one, starting at the oldest to the youngest, leave, and they drop their stone. Jesus does not bend over and say to the woman, "I love you. You keep doing your thing. You be you. Don't worry about these guys." So he holds the crowd accountable, the leaders of the law that understand Scripture. The law of Moses says we have to stone her to death. Be careful about the law you invoke. We could be stoning you next. And he looks at the woman and he says, "Where are they? Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you." But here's the kicker. Jesus declares, "Go now and leave your life of sin." He doesn't say, "Go be you. Don't worry about it. Don't sin anymore." That's holding the standards high on both sides of the room. To the ones condemning and the one being condemned. He holds both parties accountable. So, we can have high standards. We can hold people accountable. And we can lead with grace. This next one is huge. Whew. My hair is standing. Okay. Standards. Grace. So John chapter 21. This is the timeline is Jesus has resurrected. And he's been crucified. Remember, Peter denies Christ 3 times. Now, Peter's out fishing. Jesus appears, and they have breakfast. And Jesus, he does not say, yo, Peter, you denied me 3 times, brother. What's up with that? He asked Peter a question because in the air, the vibe, as the kids say, was around what's going to happen. Peter denied Jesus 3 times, but they both know. Jesus asked Peter 3 times. Ironically, Peter denies him 3 times. Jesus asks him 3 times the question, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter says, yes, Lord, you know I love you. Yet he just denied him. Then again, do you love me? Feed my sheep. And the 3rd time, do you love me? Feed my sheep. Now, Jesus never says, hey, Peter, let's talk about your failure. Resurrection or restoration is never about shame. If we haven't learned that by now in all these episodes, we're not paying attention. So here Jesus is leading Peter. And remember, the Great Commission, like these guys got to bring people to Christ and tell the story about Jesus. They don't have time for fishing. They go fish for men and women to bring to the Lord. It's amazing. I don't know if I could be this graceful. So this is setting the standards high with grace. So Peter gets a little annoyed. All right. And instead, Jesus doesn't lead into this annoyance. I forgive you. No, get back to work. The grace without lowering standards, the fact that the standards got higher there. Peter goes from a fisherman to a shepherd of the early church. So he denies Jesus 3 times. Jesus comes after the resurrection and asks Peter a question 3 times. Do you love me? And then God elevates Peter to get out and preach. Man, that's restoration tied to responsibility. That's raising the standards. Now, for a business leader, folks, that's gold for us. The real question, when someone fails, do we fire them? Do we excuse them? Or do we restore them and call them back to the standard? Boy, that's the needle we're threading. If we're leading somebody that denies the business model, that ignores your orders or your agenda or whatever you set out for them to do 3 times, do you extend grace? Do you embarrass them? Do you elevate them? Do you lower your standards? What do you do? That's the challenge. Now, to close this out, we're going to go to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15. Let me just lead you up to this. This is the book of Ephesians, Ephesus. And they're asking Paul, hey, how do we get people not just to come to church, but really grow up to the next level of maturity? And Paul tells them, and this is a hard one for me because I'm definitely a truth teller. And it's not with a soft glove. It is a sledgehammer. So Paul wants to prepare and set the church of Ephesus up for success. How do you get your people who are coming to church to grow up and to lean in wholeheartedly to Christ? What Paul is addressing here is before he writes chapter 4, verse 15, he says in chapter 14, there will be no longer They will be no longer infants, tossed and forth, back and forth by the waves. Sorry, I was a little choppy. What Paul's saying is no more being tossed to and fro by the waves, right? No more emotions, no more opinions, no more false teaching, the pressure, the culture, the trends. That's the waves just tossing us back and forth. Sounds familiar to me. But Paul's saying he's not talking to children, as he's saying there will be no more infants. He's saying in Ephesus 4:15, and this is key for leadership, especially for me. Instead of speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, and that's Christ. So instead, speaking the truth with love. He doesn't say, tell the truth. That's harsh, folks. He doesn't say, love only. That's passivity. He says, speak the truth in love. Why? He wants to lead this church to get to the next level. They're crushing it. He loves this church. Love without truth weakens. Maturity requires both truth and love. Just truth creates wounds. Love only, it makes you weaker. But the both, that's a power punch of leadership. Now, for years, even now, I'm a stranger to that love approach. But let's face it, if we're getting up every single day, we're making payroll, and we're the first ones not paying ourselves, we're loving. We're loving on our employees because we're still getting up. We're still pounding the pavement. We're still showing up. And we're still making payroll. And they're getting paid before we do. That's love. So we're bringing that. Let's be aware of that. And let's be truth tellers. Folks, how does Jesus want us to lead? Thank you for joining me in my Jesus Gym. Don't take the bait. We'll see you next week.
Do you love listening to the Buddy Foy Jr. Show and want to hear his thoughts and commentary as news breaks? You can. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Buddy Foy Jr. That's at Buddy Foy Jr. So you can watch his short video clips, enjoy pictures he posts, and read his tweets. Buddy also wants to hear from you on whether or not you agree or disagree with him, what topics are most important to you, and what guests you'd like him to schedule for his show. Email him anytime at buddyfoyjr@gmail.com. That's buddyfoyjr@gmail.com, and he'll read and reply to as many as he can. If you've been a guest at the Chateau on the Lake or the Chateau Anna Maria and want to buy a gift certificate or souvenir, visit the website and click Shop to buy shirts, hats, coffee mugs, and more. Remember to follow Buddy on Twitter and Instagram at Buddy Foy Jr. or email him at buddyfoyjr@gmail.com.